You can have $100,000 worth of esoteric, vintage, high-tech gear in your signal path, but if the microphone doesn't capture the sonic essence that's perfect for the recording, it's all a waste. Each microphone offers both a sonic personality and the potential to be much more than just an archival tool. For instance, if you and a buddy test 10 microphones on Joe to see how they'll work for his new song, 9 of the microphones might evoke an agreement that, yeah, that sounds a lot like Joe. However, chances are that one of the 10 mics might get the response, wow, Joe sounds great on that mic. It's important to note that in the vast majority of live sound and studio recording applications, there are 3 types of microphones to choose from: condenser, dynamic, and ribbon. Although there are other types of microphones, these are the ones that are best suited to high-quality sound reinforcement and studio recording, and they each offer a different set of strengths and weaknesses depending on their specific use. A condenser microphone captures the most accurate representation of complex audio waveforms. Because it's the mic type that's most capable of capturing fast attacks and waveform subtleties, a condenser mic is the preferred mic type for recording acoustic instruments like piano, drums and percussion, vocals, brass, woodwinds, and acoustic stringed instruments such as acoustic guitar, violin, viola, cello, and double bass. Dynamic microphones, also called moving coil mics, are the most durable of the mic types, which makes them a good choice for live sound reinforcement. They tend to sound best when they're close to the source, which also makes them well suited to live sound reinforcement. Dynamic mics are commonly used for live vocals, guitar, bass, and keyboard speaker cabinets, and kick drum, snare drum, and toms. They're also frequently used in the recording studio for guitar, bass, and keyboard speaker cabinets, and kick drum, snare drum, and toms. Ribbon microphones are the most fragile of all the mic types because the metallic ribbons used to capture the sound waves are thin and prone to damage from direct blasts of air. They aren't commonly used for live sound because they're not durable. But because they capture waveforms in a way that results in a smooth and warm sound, ribbon mics have become more and more popular in digital recording. The personality they bring to the table is not unlike the warm character contributed by analog recording. Ribbon microphones are frequently used for drum overheads, hi-hats, room mics, and guitar, bass, and keyboard speaker cabinets. They're also very good at smoothing out the sounds of strings, brass, woodwinds, and acoustic grand piano. Let's listen to some microphones. Some of the differences you hear at first are subtle. Others are more noticeable. As you learn more about how these mic types work, you'll start to fine-tune your hearing to the point where these differences will become much more obvious. Condenser mics capture quick attacks, full frequency response, and fine detail in the sound wave better than the other mic types. I'll explain more later about exactly why each mic type reacts the way it does, but for now, listen and compare the sounds of the following mics. Condenser mics tend to have a flat frequency response that doesn't favor lows, mids, or highs, but they're very good at capturing fast attacks called transients, such as the sound of the pick plucking the string or the stick hitting a cymbal. It's interesting, they don't sound brash in the high end, but the attacks are crystal clear, yet there's usually a very full and balanced sound. Dynamic mics have a larger, heavier diaphragm than the other mic types. They're the most durable. The old standby Shure SM57 and 58 are dynamic mics, but they tend to be the least accurate mics for capturing a clean attack and detail. Most moving coil mics capture an enhanced high end between 5 and 10 kHz and a weak low end below about 150 Hz or so. Because of a thing called the proximity effect, these mics are great for close miking. Compared to condenser mics, dynamic mics tend to have a more harsh-sounding high end. It's like the sound is thinner, with more apparent high-frequency content, but if you listen closely, the detail of the transient attack is blurred because the diaphragm is too bulky to actually capture it. Ribbon mics are known for their warm and smooth sound. They have a nice response to fast attacks, but are sometimes thought to have a duller tone than condenser or dynamic mics. However, they're very natural sounding. They tend to handle high-frequency EQ very well, and many engineers think that ribbon mics hear music more like the human ear does. These mics can be very boomy and bass-heavy when used close to the source, so it's a good idea to back them off a little more than the other mic types to compensate. These ribbon mics are a little farther away from the guitar, yet they still sound full in the low, mid, and low range. But you can still hear the clear transient without any harsh-sounding edge. That's warm and smooth. If you intend to make great music and are serious about your craft, always be in search of a great sounding microphone. Listen and evaluate based on what you hear. Now it's time to take the test that accompanies this video, and be sure to fill out the contact info so we can keep in touch. We'll alert you when new Tech Talk training tutorials are released. We're in the process of creating a complete series of training videos covering topics including interfaces, microphones, digital audio workstations, mobile recording, wireless technology, monitor systems, and more. And we'll even be creating several product-specific tutorials. If you have comments or suggestions for helpful topics, please email us at techtalk@HalLeonard.com.